You go ahead. Go ahead and be cynical if you want to. It's a win. It's a Rider win last night. We're riding high, 31-26 over Ottawa. Thanks for tuning into the Sports Cage or watching. We're back streaming on YouTube through the SportsCage.com website. Thank you very much. It is for Nelson Holmes on Friday.
Thank you very much.
That's the voice of Sharky. You're going to see him in a bit. If you're watching the stream, he's got a new hairdo. There he is.
Yeah, looks good.
There he
it's coming
is.
in nice.
And just Colson on the other side of the board today. Just Colson on this Friday.
So we have an extra coffee here, is what you're telling me.
We are going to, if anybody wants to stop in, doors open, come and be a host, a producer. We're always
run the video screen.
Always welcoming new skills here. We're going to break down the game, hear from some of the post-game comments yesterday. One that Coach Mace had. I was listening to the fellas, and then I laughed out loud. I was like, oh, that is funny. Farhan Lalji, he joins us here in hour one for a quick little segment on the game, on the CFL. I think he's going to be at BC Place, getting ready for tomorrow's nights. NHL game tonight, Stanley Cup, Game 2, Eric Francis in hour 2. This is our last hit with Eric Francis. That's scheduled.
What's happened to him?
I think he's going to Japan. And that his deal with us is just until beginning of June. So this is it, as Michael Jackson said.
Is this a permanent move to Japan?
We can ask him that.
Or vacation.
I want to get in because I've been throwing around the we should go to Tokyo with Mrs. S. She ain't buying it, and I'm like, the yen is like low, like it's probably one of the best places we can go with our dollar to Japan. I just know some people that just got back from there. They loved it. Take the sticks. Get some golfing in.
Really?
I think when she thinks Japan, though, she thinks like 1960 Vietnam.
No,
it's like not even close.
It's like a city of the future.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Looks like New York. And then hour 3, Glen Suitor, who was doing color for the game yesterday. Hopefully he has just landed. I think he's going back home. So Glen in hour 3. Light up the Prairie Land Rentals text line today. Heck, if there's I got some quarters over there, Colson. We can even take a few calls on what people think. 936-6262 Prairie Land Rentals, 600 Albert Street. Whether you need power tools, gardening tools, or something big like a skid steer, they can rent it for you for your job, or they can sell you. They're Husqvarna dealer. You deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. Again, 936-6262. Sharky?
Yes.
That first series?
Yes.
Ooh. I'm a little worried there on that first series as Drew Brown methodically looking like Anthony Calvillo tears apart our zone defense. But then who were we talking? I think it was Luke that was on. We're talking about, when you play zone in football, it's kind of like the bend but don't break.
Yeah.
And then you get close to the goal line or to the red zone, and then you change things up, and you can do some things. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's what they're doing. And then scores. And I'm like, that's definitely not what they're doing. Okay, this isn't good. I'm hammering the Riders -3 too. Keep in mind.
Okay.
So then I'm like,
it's early.
Hey, this is our defense. We won the toss, deferred. We won the toss, right? Yeah. We wanted to show what our defense could do, and then they come down, rip it apart. But then, and Trevor Harris's first drive, the offense, they didn't look great.
No.
So then I'm like,
we were looking a little skeptical there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we like at the end of the day, we turn it around. Now, that a win's a win, as they say.
Yeah.
What was your?
When we were talking beforehand, I had the Riders by 11 was the score I had in my head.
Oof,
right?
Bullish.
I thought so too. I don't think people realize how good Drew Brown is. Like he's a good young quarterback. Ottawa's going to be good. And I think they're going to be one of the top teams in the East. I think they're going to push for the 1-2 spot in the East. They got a very good football team. They got some great receivers. Talking with Dave, they're a little thin on the Canadian depth. They got to get some more help there. But Ottawa's a good team, and not that we took them lightly, but they were ready to play. They brought their A game on the first series offensively and defensively, and caused us to ramp our game up a little bit. And not to say we were sitting back or we were being kind or gentle or thinking we were going to run away with it, just that maybe we had to kind of get punched in the nose to get into the action. And I think once we did, then we were fine.
And when it mattered, right?
Yeah.
I felt that is where the defense stepped up. The coaching probably stepped up. They're like, okay, we've kind of felt things out now.
Yep.
All right, let's do this. Let's take away this. Let's take away that. Okay, we got that Mace clip ready for this. This is in the post game show yesterday. It's funny. Dave Thomas is going to throw to it. Dave is asking him about, although they had 400 yards, as did Ottawa. Dave kind of throws to him that he thinks, I think your defense played fairly well, and then Coach Mays. This is just hilarious.
Up 400 yards in passing today, but I don't know if that number is truly indicative of the way the game went. I thought your defense was pretty good. What did you see?
It's we got some stuff to clean up, no doubt. We didn't end up pressuring a lot, to be honest. We were really looking forward to seeing what this D-line can do by themselves, and I thought they did. They came up with some crucial sacks to be able to get after it. And then certainly, too, you got to leverage when you have people going down and new guys going in, you got to leverage that as well for, if we can play it on us, especially a lot of those guys that had to come in are, big four special teams players, too. So stuck and win that first week. We got to be smart. Had to be smart, man. But, that's 400 yards. That's a tough one to swallow. But more importantly, I thought that there was at least two, but maybe even three, opportunities for us to possess the ball defensively. That we want to make sure that we capitalize on those opportunities.
I don't quite agree with that statement. Yeah,
No, I liked it. And you know what? That's the honesty.
I appreciate that Mace wants more of his defense, that he thought they should have brought more to the game. You don't want a coach that goes, 400 yards, not bad. We thought we did okay. There were some holes. There were some holes on defense that Ottawa was able to exploit. One hole they couldn't exploit was running the ball. Would they get 30 yards?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
and I could have maybe picked up 15. But yeah, that was really surprising. And then Mace again here, he just kind of talks about the whole game. Like a win's a win, but it wasn't a Picasso.
No.
Look, we'll never apologize for wins. Obviously, that's not the way that we kind of wanted it to look. But it's hard to win in this league, and specifically versus a team, who I would identify as kind of built similar to us. Physical game, man. But ultimately, the goal is to win, and we did that. So I'm happy.
Things are going to happen in a football game too. It's not a script. It's not a theater production. Things are going to happen. We had a whole bunch of injuries all through the gamut, whether offensive line and running backs and receivers. Milligan going out. So things are going to happen in a game that's going to cause you to make changes. And he's not apologizing for a win because they got it done with some people that were maybe playing in different spots.
AJ Ouellette takes that hit to the head.
Ouch.
And right away he's on the ground. It's like, ooh, nope. And then he kind of stays there, and then he comes off. I'm like, okay, that's probably done for the game.
Yep.
Concussion protocol, and it's week one. And it wasn't like AJ violent running, jumping over three humans and a bench and then falling into a heater. Like, no, that was just a weird hit to the head. But can we get on the Thomas Bertrand Houdon
bandwagon? Oh. All day long.
I'm going to go TBH from here on in. I know people like calling him the trains. We can call him the train too. The handle's a lot to say. A lot. So TBH. And I just, there was a part, and I'm kind of trying to go back and watching CFL football, even like back in the 90s and all that. And I'm like, is this his coming out party? Or is this something here? Because we've kind of known. He's a good backup. He had a good camp. He did some good things last year.
He gives us lots of depth. Blah, 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 blah. Right?
Again, I'm not a running back coach. I've coached football, played football, but I'm watching him and I'm like, this guy's good, isn't he?
Well,
like,
he's good and he's big. He's hard to bring down.
perfect.
The first hit does not slow him up. Like Ouellette, the first hit does not set him back. He continues to go. And his speed is deceptive. Like, I couldn't get over how quick he could get around the corner, right? He brought more than I thought.
I think a lot of that comes with smarts.
Yes.
Too, that speed, right? Because in the post-game show on the Rider Broadcast Network, this is TBH talking here, and they ask him about his touchdown where he comes out of the backfield, catches it, and as the check down guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a check down route, and Trev led me perfectly, knowing that there was a guy coming from the outside. And then it was very easy. I mean, Sam Emilis made a hell of a block on the DB, and all I had to do was just peekaboo with the safety, basically, and then I had the outside completely free. So shout out to Sam, shout out to Trev to help me out, just being able to shake the defensive man even easier. So, yeah, all my teammates did what they had to do on that play.
TBH, Luke here. I'm responsible for asking the hard-hitting questions here, man. And here's what I want to know. You had a big run that was called back. It was about a 45-yard run. It got called back. And my question to you is, if that happens, do you swear in French or English?
Man, I swear in both at that point.
Oh, okay, all right, cool. We were debating up in the box, like what you give it out, but okay.
Having said that, though, Thomas, you told me up in Saskatoon that you kind of recommitted to the playbook and made sure that you were in tip-top physical condition coming into this year. What did you do differently? And maybe explain that to Rider Nation this off-season.
I mean, me and my friend, we went down in the States to a trainer that we know to work on our speed for the longest, and it was really just a grind. It was 4 hours of workout per day, strict diet the entire time, and also my days were so busy, I had no time to just do anything that I wanted outside of just working out, so it kept me focused, and every day I was just in my playbook, so it kind of helped me out focus and come in even more ready for the season.
It's interesting, the commitment. Like, we always talk about, he works hard and he tries hard and he's a good guy. But as we're calling him now, TBH, he made a commitment. He was going to come back a better football player and a better part of this organization. That's impressive to hear.
Better man. Clint Black style. Here's Coach Mace on TBH after the game.
Thomas the Train, man. Thomas the Train. I mean, he put together some really good runs, obviously. Tough runner. Like I said, we've seen that, and we spoke to it, I think last week. The kid, just every time he has an opportunity to do something, has been pretty dang outstanding. And today's, again, proof to that, obviously, with the 2 touchdowns. So, that game ball went to him.
Nice. Definitely.
Yep.
Game ball. Prairie Land Rentals text line 936-6262. Jeff saying Thomas the Train, lock him up long term.
Yeah. I think in the CFL that's 2 years plus an option, but yeah, sign him up.
Coming out party. A lot of people also, you can have your say, 936-6262, talking about Mario Alford. 5 punt returns for 45 yards, 4 kick returns for 112, 1 missed field goal for 60. Yes. I thought he did an unreal job. Field position is so key.
Do you know what I saw in Mario Alford? Everybody's talking about the young guy that came in that was looking really good. And Mario Alford said, sure, he looks good, but he ain't me.
I still got game.
Yeah, I'm still number 1 here. Get him a seat on the back of the bus. He don't ride in the front.
He's no. So we can get into a little bit more on him. Some people are talking about, that, they, what does he say? Gave a solid field position all game. Sebastian saying that.
Do you know Mary Alford does?
He helped keep it closer.
Yeah. You know what he does in the off season?
Well, can I guess?
Yeah.
Drives truck.
He's a cattle farmer.
Yeah.
You weren't even close. You weren't even in the ballpark.
I was going to say drives livestock.
Cattle truck?
Yeah.
He's a cattle farmer. Got a big cattle operation.
Yeah. Have your say if you want. It is the Sports Cage on Friday. Sharky's in on a Friday. When Sharky's in, it's brought to you by Flooring Superstores, Regina.
Went there the other day. Great stuff.
Trending 25% off most of the warehouse.
It's very cool.
Basically
Gotta
giving
stop by.
it away.
Yeah, it's free.
They bought before the tariff, so if you need flooring at home, cabin, apartment, duplex, whatever, go and see over 30 years in business, their experience, and like I said, 25% off most of the warehouse. So they bring you Sharky, Flooring Superstore. Thank you very much. The Cage on Fridays is for Nelson Holmes. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk to, from TSN, Farhan Lalji, who will be at BC Place. See, maybe he's hanging out with Snoop. If you're watching the stream, it might be a little smoky. Smoky! It's a SportsCage, streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM. All right, CFL season is here. Last night we talked about it in segment 1. The Rider win. CFL continues. Farhan Lalji is in BC. Okay, first off, let's go to the Ottawa Sask game. Farhan, did you learn anything from either team in week 1 that kind of you didn't know?
Not really. I mean, I thought both teams were going to be pretty good, and they were. You look at Trevor Harris, and, you know, the Riders had a couple of turnovers early in that game, and then after that first interception, the early one that he threw, I thought he was outstanding, you know, and he didn't necessarily have to put up the number of throws that Drew Brown did because Ottawa was chasing the entire game. But he was efficient. He got the ball out of his hands. He spread it around. He got it to the right people. He got Emelis the ball a lot. I think Emelis is going to just pick up where he left off a year ago. He was outstanding. And defensively, this team knows how to get after the passer, especially at critical times. So I liked what I saw from Saskatchewan. You know, they kind of made it needlessly close at the end there, where, you know, when they turned the ball over late. But overall, I thought Saskatchewan looked really good. And then Drew Brown, what was he? At one point, he was completing 90% of his passes, despite all that he had to throw. And some of it was checkdowns for sure. But I thought he was sharp. You know, they've got a pretty balanced receiving core 1 through 5. I thought they all looked good. So I think both these teams should be pretty pleased coming out of the game. You know, if you're Ottawa, you don't want to make some of the mistakes that they made. But I thought Saskatchewan was full value.
First drive, Ottawa comes out and they pick apart that zone like methodically, right? And I'm like, oh, geez. And I'm riding the Riders on a -3 bet hard, so I'm like, let's go. But like you said, the Rider defense, it seemed to be when they were pushed, when they needed to be, they stepped up.
Well, look, I think sometimes at the start of a season, we're all arrogant. And we can all be bullish on what we've got. And everybody, myself included, has talked about how good this Rider team is and specifically how good their defense is. So in the early stages, they wanted to be real vanilla. And I think Corey Mace prefers to do that. I think he wants to beat you with personnel and he wants to be able to get after you that way and just win his matchups. But then sometimes you realize you might have to do a little bit more, right? And I think there were times in the game, especially late, where they had some delayed blitzes. They created some different looks. And sometimes you got to coach. And sometimes you got to, you know, you can't just assume you guys are going to win every battle and win every matchup. And, you know, you might have to get a little bit creative. And I think once they started doing that, I think Ottawa had some challenges.
With another injury on the offensive line and with the injuries they've had in the offensive line and what they have going, they don't give up any sacks. That's a positive.
It is, right? And especially, you know, you look at a guy like A.J. Ouellette who got banged up again in this game. And, you know, he's a guy that you normally expect to be an important part of the pass protection as well. And Matthew Bertrand-Hudon came in, and I thought he looked very good in that area too, right? So, you know, the one thing with Trevor Harris is he knows how to get the ball out of his hands early. He's smart. You know, he's watching him play the game the last couple of years really reminds me of AC. Right? And I think Trevor still has the ability to push the ball a little bit more than AC did then. But in terms of the way the game is slowed down and the cerebral element of what Trevor Harris can bring to the game, you know, I think it's special. And I think he has been that quarterback who's gotten better with age and with time. And his game has never been dependent on using his legs to run around where that's going to diminish. Right? So he can still play the game at a pretty good level.
Yeah, smart. Right? It's just smart football. Like you said, quick reads and the reads, looking off receivers. He was on point for a lot of the night. You mentioned him, Thomas Bertrand-Hudon. Big run called back on a penalty. For a moment there, Farhan, I'm like, is this his coming out party for all of Canada to see? Like the guy can run. Like he is that guy, right? That takes a lick. I don't think he runs as violently as AJ personally. That's just my personal thought. But I thought to be thrust in. He did well last year. He's had a good camp and everything. But I'm like, is this his coming out party? Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I think it is, right? Like, I don't think we've seen him get that level of run and be put in that many situations, right? And I think the team likes his versatility, right? Because he can play that fullback spot. He can play that H-back spot. He can do a few different things. And, I think it gives them some flexibility even at other times in the game when AJ Ouellette's healthy. And I do believe, I think the club is optimistic that they're going to get him back next week, that AJ will be able to play. But, you can play Bertrand Houdon and get another American and a receiver in certain packages, right? Like not on a full-time basis, but it just affords you a level of flexibility and a bit of a 1-2 punch. And they don't have to run as violently, right? I mean, every running back has got a different style, and his sure proved to be effective yesterday when they needed him.
Okay, let's look the rest of the game that you're at BC Place. You said there Edmonton in town. First off, did you get the set list for Snoop? Can you give me a sneak peek?
I can't give you a sneak peek. I'm sorry, I haven't seen the set list yet. They did a sound check here a couple of minutes ago, but it wasn't his music, right? And it was obviously a recording. It wasn't live concert sound. So I'm curious to see, because I know they are going to have something with him earlier in the day tomorrow. So I might try to sneak in, and if I do, I'll text you the set list at that point. You can tweet it.
Big fan. I don't know if you and I talked about this. I know Suits and I did.
I just want to hear "Not Like Us." Can we assume we're going to hear that?
That might be a deep cut. I don't know. I'm a big From the Church to the Palace guy, and I don't think he's going to play that.
Okay.
I don't know. You never know. Maybe he brings out some Canadiana with him too, right? Make it like a big thing. I love this matchup though. Just
as long as he's not wearing an Oiler jersey, he'll be okay.
Yeah, a Canucks
in this market.
A Hughes jersey, but which Hughes?
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm interested to watch this game just to see if either quarterback's gripping it, maybe a little tighter, maybe even more so on Rourke, right? Like I think you expect Rourke with a bounce back year after a little bit of turmoil and what happened last year, but this quarterback matchup is very intriguing on a Saturday night.
Yeah, it really is. And talking to Nathan this week, he's talked about how different it feels right now. Like, he said to me that when I played in the NFL, or when I was at NFL camps and practices, there's kind of this feeling that every throw is going to be your last, or could be your last, and every practice could be your last. And when he came back last year, he brought that pressure with him. He didn't realize how to alleviate that. And now he knows he's got the backing of the organization, and he's had a completely different approach mentally coming into training camp. And this week in practice, he's looked really, really sharp. I think yesterday was kind of okay, but the first 2 days of the practice week, when they were going fully, I thought he looked really, really good. He's developing some chemistry with his receivers. I think Nathan Rourke knows who he is, and I don't, if people are always going to compare him to that 2022 season, and, I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing, because I think you want expectation, but I think he's been able to enter this season and take a little bit of pressure off himself. We'll see what that looks like if there's any early struggles. And as far as Trey Ford's concerned, you've got a new offense in terms of Jordan McSimic, and Jordan's a different kind of coordinator, and he's very exacting with what he wants his quarterbacks to do and the progression base of the offense to get to one, to the next, to the next. Very little room for freelance, as opposed to what Nathan Rourke might get here, or what Nathan Rourke what a guy like Vernon Adams is getting this year with Dave Dickinson. So it's different, and I'm told that they're going to bring in some different option type run schemes, to do some things differently with Trey Ford. So we'll see what that looks like and see if he can stay healthy through that too.
So, and then I'll let you pick which one, the game tonight, Toronto, Montreal, or tomorrow, Hamilton, Calgary. Either of those ones intrigue you, and why?
Well, obviously the Calgary-Hamilton game I think is hugely intriguing, right? Because you've got Bo Levi Mitchell coming home. The league kind of aired and how they scheduled a year ago, and they weren't able to make that happen. And now he's going to Calgary, and it's Vernon Adams' first game as the franchise with his new team, right? So he obviously knows the storyline with Bo there. Those things do resonate with Vernon. So he is going to try to make a statement that, look, you got the better end of the deal, even though the other guy threw for 5,000 yards last season. So I really like what Calgary's got offensively. I have some concerns where they're at defensively. I still think kind of the emotion of the day and all of that is going to play into it for Calgary, and I think they're going to find a way to win a really high-scoring game. But the other part of it is the news that came out today regarding Ted Govaya. Now, I think that the Ticat players have been aware of the situation for a while, but that's certainly going to bring out a little bit of additional emotion in them as well, given what's going on with their general manager.
All right. I'm excited. It's got to be maybe next episode. Maybe he'll open up with next episode, and then Snoop goes into some of it from there. Really, that's an intriguing football game and an intriguing start, right? See what he plays. Thanks so much, and then we'll regroup next week, and then we get to talk about week 2.
Sounds good, buddy. Have a great weekend.
Right on. Our TSN insider Farhan Lalji for Cooperators. They can build you a plan that works. Get financially fit. Cooperators, invest in your future together. We will go to break here. Sharky's going to be back in, and we come back. If you're watching that stream, we stream it at sportscage.com through our YouTube channel. Thanks to everyone who's subscribed and hit that like button. Colson really appreciates that. And as always, we are on the home of the CFL and Rider Football, 620 CKRM. Welcome back on Fridays for Nelson Holmes. Sharky's with me. And when Sharky's on the program, he's brought to you by Flooring Superstores Regina. 25% off almost the whole warehouse right now at Flooring Superstores if you need flooring. Thanks to the people who have been texting in the Prairie Land Rentals text line. Also, Brent from Saskatoon texted in.
Okay.
He says, beautiful country, Japan. He's been there. His wife's going back again. I guess her daughter's going to school there or something. He says, if you get a chance, go to Japan. Sharky and I were, how did that come about?
The price of the yen? Was the dollar of the yen? No, somebody was just there.
Yeah, I don't know how it all started, but I think Japan, it's on the list. It's now on the list. Not a lot of, like, Australia's not on my list. New Zealand,
I think I'd go to Australia before I'd go to Japan. I think.
I wouldn't, to be honest.
That's why we don't vacation together.
Brandon, faithful listener, he said, what a game. It ended up being closer than it could have, but he said, like we said, Mario and field position was key. We turned the ball over, gave them great field position. But defense, when it had to, held strong. That's what we said. Hopefully, Milligan, Ouellette, Shake and Bake, and Big Red aren't out too long. Yeah, that's game 1. And I was like, the Ouellette thing. Okay, banged in the head, concussed. Just take a seat.
Yeah.
Come back next game.
Milligan apparently had the same thing.
Was it?
Yeah. And he wanted back in, they wouldn't let him. So
Peyton Collins, I was like, no,
another lineman.
And he just said, we just hyped this kid up all week on the cage. We had like the talk, it's like everything, and then I get like I think it was Tegan during because I listen to the Rider Broadcast Network,
of course,
and then if you can watch it or do whatever, and I'm listening, and she said that he kind of embraced his dad, and then went into the locker room. His parents were in town, or at least his dad. That's sad.
Yeah,
man.
I hope it's not serious.
Kean Schaefer-Baker,
he's on the limp, so whatever he did, hopefully it can recover quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we got? Other people raving about Mario Alford here,
yeah.
And then Thomas the Train.
You can't not be excited about what he brought to the game.
Lots of people on the text line raving about him. Yeah, I was kind of like I said to Farhan too. I'm like, do you think is this coming out party?
I made a comment with Dave. He was in here earlier. We were talking, and one of the things I like about the receiving core is the reliability of Mitch Picton.
Yeah.
Right?
Safety valve, I used to call those guys.
He is totally the safety valve. We need 5. Picton's going to get it, right?
Yeah.
We run a play that is designed for him. Like, he's just so reliable. He's in the right spot. He's so reliable. They need a big play, then go to Emilus, right? He can get open in the middle. But if they need that guaranteed 5-yarder, or early in the game there, they're kind of in that funk after that first series that went completely sideways. I think the next 2 passes went to Mitch. So just showing you they need that guy to get things going. They used him. I was impressed by that.
Geno Lewis and Tavon Campbell matchup. I want to see that on repeat.
Yeah, I got to go back and look at that.
I want to see those two guys. There was the jump ball in the end zone, and Campbell won that one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. It reminded me of being the Patriots fan that I am. Like that year they made their run, and it was like Revis. You know, they just put him on the best receiver, and it was like just showtime.
Yep.
Man on man, best on best. Let's go.
All day long. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was really good. Big fan of Geno Lewis. After coming on the show, what he did, and we
telling
kind
his side of the story. Yeah.
Maybe we were the pot stirrers. Sure, yeah. I've played that role before to
a T.
many time. But yeah, no, that was really good to watch. And like we talked about at the start, and other people have texted in here too. Like, you know, the bend but don't break. Except that first series was bend and break, and it didn't look too good. But then the defense just did what they needed to do and probably a lot of that, let's be honest, because it's football, and if you've ever played it, coaching.
Yeah, without a doubt, it's coaching. I mean, Ottawa throws a couple wrinkles in that they haven't seen, or runs a couple plays that, you know, the Riders haven't looked at on film prior to the game, and that's what Ottawa should be prepared with. They should have brought that to the table, and but the Rider defense went, wait a tick, I've seen this one before. Try that again.
Keyshawn Johnson, if you're listening, great game, great catches. Protect that ball in the fourth quarter. Protect that ball.
I don't know if you saw after Emilus had the fumble. And then the second catch he had, he was running through the middle and was going to get tackled. But he double-handed that thing. He tucked it in tight. Yeah. There was no way they were punching that out. So that's just that's not coaching. That's just, you know, in the back of your head you made a mistake and it's easy to fix. So give them credit for fixing those mistakes.
Emilus, 133 yards.
That was a good day.
8 receptions. Keyshawn, because he went. That's like the Picton. He went like Picton, then Emilus.
Yeah.
Keyshawn.
Yep.
But
he had his guys.
And Farhan talked about it. Hey, be critical of him all you want. Yeah, he's older. But 40 in 2025 isn't 40 in 1982, Grandpa.
No, it's completely different.
Like, 40-year-old still. Did you see him scamper on that one?
Yeah.
And that was just David Lincoln's like, the whole stadium is holding their breath. It's like, poor guy. Like, he can still get out and get us 10 here and there.
And 40 in the CFL being able to run, and 40 in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers can't run like that. He could never get out of bounds. He'd get destroyed. So,
not like he learned after the Achilles.
Yeah.
It was like,
can't horse around. So, yeah, there's no complaints with even the interception. He got rocked or got hit. His arm got hit just before he threw that ball. So the interception's not on him. It's a great defensive play.
Very Anthony Calvillo-ish. Remember him?
Yeah, very controlled, very disciplined, very smart.
The one that I saw, I think it was one of the slants to Keyshawn or Sam. Is you could just see his eyes, and like I'm coaching flag football, right? And I'm telling the court, like, do not focus on where you're throwing. Because now you're getting older. They're watching your eyes.
Yeah.
So look them off and then come here. And then there was the one, like he looks off like a hot route, or an inside kind of just stagger inside, maybe an inside slant. And then the wide receiver's coming slant. And he looks him off. And then the guy's wide open because everyone's watching.
That's right.
His eyeballs. We're okay there. We're okay.
We're really good.
He's probably not going to play the full season. Can we be aware of that? It's a 2-quarterback league.
Every team, I think of the 9, 8 have a veteran backup.
Yeah.
Right?
We're in good shape there.
We're in great shape.
Can always use offensive linemen.
Yeah, no. There's a call out today. Yeah.
We are learning that over the last 18 months. in Saskatchewan.
You never have enough. I don't know why we only dress one backup on the O-line.
It's like you can never have enough money. People say, money doesn't buy happiness. You're not happy with money.
You're not spending it right.
I'll take that. I'll take that bet.
Yeah.
Try me.
Let me help you out.
Try me. We can never have too many offensive linemen. It's just, yeah. Who else on the board? Impressed. We talked about Mario Alford.
Mario Alford impressed a lot.
Maybe there's like there was a little fire under his arse.
There was a little, hey, don't look at that young guy too long, right? There's another year left in this dog.
That first field goal, though.
Yeah.
Whoa. Talk about puking all over yourself. And Couch was holding?
Yeah.
Probably like, oh no.
I actually turned away to get a beverage, and I look back and I go, what is going on out there?
Like, so you think, like, I did it in high school. I had to hold for the couple of times.
Yeah.
There is so much pressure
there's a lot
stress on that gig that no one ever talks about.
No.
It is like, it's like the captain of a ship. It's like come into port and out of port. And I'm sure there's a lot of pressure under that and or landing a plane manually. Shout out Linford and BJ.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, because what's the next one going to look like?
They would have had a chat afterwards. What happened?
I'm glad Lawther didn't get hurt. Because as soon as he grabbed that ball, and I'm like,
oh boy, yeah, what are you doing?
He can get rocked here and land on top of him.
Yeah.
That wasn't a work of art, but they battled back.
They did. I actually thought Couch did a great job punting too. I thought his punts were great.
Called upon late.
Yeah.
All the pressure.
Yeah. I thought he did a great job. I thought our defensive line did okay. I'd like to see a little bit more. 4 sacks. I mean, I'm kind of greedy that I want 6, but
Ottawa had 0.
Yeah.
With our offensive line. So that's one good thing.
That's a sign.
You're always welcome. 936-6262. Prairie Line Rentals text line. We'll get to more of those in a bit. It is the Sports Cage on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. Tonight they're 1-0 over the Renegades. Covered the over-under 2 at 48.
Good work.
Blew it. No, I had -3.
Oh, did you?
Riders -3 and -2 at half on another one. Oh, yeah. The fellas pulling it out. Tonight in the CFL, Toronto and Montreal. Intriguing matchup there. Montreal is the favorite. NHL tonight, Stanley Cup Game 2, Oilers-Panthers. Oilers, now $1.43 is the wager to win the series now.
Plus 143?
143 to win the series. Western Canadian Baseball League, East Division. Last night, Regina, 10-3 over Swift. They're back in Swift tonight. They're at home to Fort Mac tomorrow. Fort Mac's in Weyburn tonight. They're doing the swing down here. And then Saskatoon, Moose Jaw also play hardball tonight. Blue Jays, 2 at 3 from the Phillies. They travel to Minnesota, also known as Minnesota, tonight. And in the NBA last night, I didn't watch it, but what a game. Game 1. Everybody's raving about it. Colson said he watched it. Pacers come back again, 111-110. Game 2 goes Sunday in OKC. That is your sports ticker in hour 1 for Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Keeping you in hot and soft water. Call on Reliance. We're going to start hour 2 by talking hockey. Oiler fans, 936-6262. Probably confident. You're probably confident tonight. Eric Francis, it's his last hit. That's how we got going on Japan.
There it is.
He's allegedly going to Japan for good. We'll talk to Eric when we come back. It is a Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com.
You had a trivia question for me today.
Did I?
Yeah.
And on 620 CKRM. How's it going out there today? Friday. Into the weekend. We probably should have played some more Rider music. Green is the color. On Roughriders. It was a win. Don't be cynical. Started the show with that. A lot of people loving the win on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. 936-6262, Prairie Land Rentals. 600 Albert Street. You get to deal with the owners. Some people are saying there are too many turnovers. All that. Game 1 of the season. There's going to be some turnovers. How would you could be Ottawa, where 0 sacks and a loss. The other thing too, and I don't know if anyone else caught this, it looked like Drew Brown was maybe a little injured.
Beat up.
ailing
Beat up.
in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
If it was a hip or a leg. But he
was tired. He was tired of getting beat up.
well, the Riders turned it on.
Yeah.
So yeah. Always taking your comments. 936-6262. We have some Kelly in Calgary. She great call coverage last night. I was in a hockey rink for 4.5 hours, so I really appreciate the detailed play-by-play. Yeah, Kelly, I know. I feel you. I know what that's all about. Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to listening all season. I think the train showed enough that he should be given a lot of balls next week in the starting job. I think it's only a matter of time before Snoop comes to Mosaic. Kelly and YYC. Hey,
That would be something, Snoop and Mosaic. I'd even go to that.
He was in Saskatoon a little while ago.
Was he?
Yeah. You think he's one of those artists that predominantly shows up late for his set? He's in the back. He's in the back doing his thing. He's doing what he's
getting ready.
Taking his medicine. Yeah, Snoop should come for a Rider game, though. The Riders could go. We could have a whole segment. We do a show on this in 2 weeks from now.
Hey, you know what?
Because you got to go budget. We got to be budget friendly, right?
Yeah.
Amar Doman just throws it out there like he's going to build a house of blues.
Yeah, the budget's not an issue for Amar Doman. Yeah.
There's so many acts. I thought the kid they had last night from Weyburn was good.
Actually, he's going to be my because of what he did when he lost the mic. He didn't fumble too bad. Right? Held the mic out of the audience, got them to sing. I give that kid credit. I think Braden King was that his name? Yeah. Braden King. Nice work.
Yeah.
I thought he was really decent. I was impressed. Looked at his list. He'll be at the Ben Goff show later this summer.
Rob. This is the first comment I've seen, Rob. He's saying you're not touching on my comments. He said, good win. My question, why does the command center review the picked and catch inside 3 minutes? Non-scoring turnover play, to their credit, it was incomplete. Thanks, Rob. I don't know why. Is that the rule, or did they change that rule that they can review anything they want?
I don't know. I was in the stands and didn't notice.
It's a good question, though, Rob. Maybe we'll get to the bottom of it with Dave.
He's the guy to ask. Yeah.
Next week. All right, put football over here for a second. Let's talk some traveling and hockey. Ooh. For the last time this year. He'll probably have a few appearances throughout the summer, but here's Eric Francis.
Now for Inside the NHL with Eric Francis on the Sports Cage. Inside the NHL is brought to you by Selfie Mainline Chrysler, the newest king of trucks. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed.
I don't even get to see him today because he's over the telephone. That means he's probably
on the golf course. Yeah.
Hey, hour one, we said you were joining us. It's the last hurrah for us this year. Hopefully we get to do it again next year. And I said, well, one of the main reasons, Sharky's like, why? And I'm like, well, it's because kind of contract or his deal with us is up and he's got to have his time. I said, but the other thing is he's going to Japan. He's like, why is he going to Japan? Like moving to Japan? I said, I don't think so. I don't think he would do that. He's going to Japan. Is it a holiday to Japan, Eric?
Or is this a permanent move?
It's a holiday. But you never know. You never know. We're going to go survey the sumo scene down there, and maybe it's something I feel like I could cover very well. I doubt it, but
sumo.
So we're just going for all. And you guys call me anytime. I'm just going for a couple of weeks, but after that, you call me anytime this summer. We could talk Snoop. We can talk Roughriders, and I actually have a Snoop story.
Let's go. Yeah, let's hear it.
Be careful if the kid comes to your town because years ago he was in town doing a show, and one of the local hotels here had a pretty significant fire. And the word was that it was somebody in his entourage who fell asleep with a blunt in his bed. And it burned a section of the hotel. And I remember telling, I have a friend who's, anyway, long story short, how I found out, but I said, you guys got to go public with that. Like, that hotel could be known around the world as the place that Snoop almost burned down.
Yeah.
Or one of his crew. And they're like, no, we just, I think for legal reasons or whatever, they didn't want it out there. And these are all allegations anyway, so we'll keep it at that. But just be careful. Keep an eye on him if he comes to town.
it's what it makes me think of back when, and this is, I'm not being insensitive to anybody here. We're just a sports show. We like to have fun. But back when I was younger, it was almost like you heard a lot of house fire. It started by someone falling asleep on a couch with a cigarette.
With a cigarette, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a dying art, isn't it, Eric?
That is a dying art. Like, you know, and other things that don't happen anymore, like ashtrays. I got handed an ashtray the other day. I was golfing up at Stewart Creek, and I had the biggest stogie I think I've ever smoked in my life. And on the first tee, like, hey, we got wildfires going on, right? Like,
Yeah.
I get it. And they handed me a custom-made, like, ashtray. It wasn't one of those glass ones our parents had.
Uh-huh.
Those were beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
But there's got to be an ashtray museum somewhere in the world with all the old, unbelievable ashtrays people used to have in the 70s and 80s.
I love the single stand one is the one you want with the handle on top that you could carry it around and then set it beside your chair.
Yeah, that.
Right?
And then have a whole, bingo hall section.
Yes.
Bingo halls from around the world.
Those were my favorites.
Okay, continue.
And, well, I know. They handed me one, and I got it. Like, it was, and I needed it. I used it all day long. For even the third stogie, I used it for. But another ashtray story. Just Iron Mike Keenan was in town just the other week, and he was notorious for being hard on the players. And when he went to Chicago, one of the first things he did was introduce a workout gym. They didn't have one, and so there's cutting edge technology. But then he did something that no other coach would ever dare do. He took all the ashtrays out of the workout room. He just thought that was not necessary. Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah.
Man, the game has changed.
When you should board that plane to Japan, and while you're sitting there, get your wife to film this. Bring a pack of darts and do that tapping thing that people do when they're gonna light one up, and right when the flight attendants are walking by, and see what happens. Oh, this is a non-smoking flight? I can't. That's for our podcast, Eric. I don't even know why they mention that anymore. And just so you know, this is you can't smoke. There's the non-smoking sign. No crap. Like, really?
Were you ever on a plane when somebody was smoking beside
Back when I was a kid, of course.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah.
And what I was just talking last week, the other day, about the excitement. This generation will never understand the excitement of when they announced on a plane, ladies and gentlemen, we are excited to announce that we will be showing a movie today. And the crowd would erupt, and it would be 30 rows ahead of you on a tiny little projector screen. And if you were sitting in the smoking section, the smoke you couldn't see it anyway, but you could hear it. And it was from a movie that was actually out in the theaters, which was mind blowing. I don't know how they got that secured, Rocky 1 while it was in the theaters. But those were exciting times. Kids will never know that excitement.
Oh, that's
they get
a
every
great
movie
story.
in the world they want.
Yeah, we've all had that experience, though. Like, we've all remembered that experience, and those kids are going to miss out on so many things. So many things.
That'd be a marketing. You got to do it in a big city, though. It's got to you got to originate. It's like the Los Angeles to Vegas
smoking
or New
plane.
York to a plane where that allows smoking, and you get all the skids that still dart and want to dart on a plane. It'd be awesome.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty unique marketing for sure. I'm not sure the insurance companies would be all that thrilled about it, or the airline would have to defumigate the plane. But some of these charter gigs are going on right now. Those planes are so old that maybe it wouldn't be that bad if you just smoked them out.
The discount airline. I've taken the discount airline out of Minot once to Vegas. And I trust me.
The ashtray's still in the arm?
Anybody's going to Legion out of Minot or Sun Country out of Williston. Williston's a nice little airport, by the way, brand new. There's a bar right in the middle of it. It's like you're at an Earl's, and it's got three doors for planes. It's like so small, and I'm sitting there. So we're getting in one because you're going to Vegas. Who doesn't have a few when you're going to Vegas?
Always,
even if you're going for work or whatever. You're having a few, and then I'm on the plane, and I'm trying to explain to my buddies, possibly my wife, and she would just be rolling her eyes. And I'm like, well, you know what these planes need? They should have, a table. and you can like get up and go play blackjack at the front. And they're all like, "You're an idiot." And I'm like, think about it.
It'd be brilliant.
If turbulence happens and you go sit down, you lock the chips up.
Yeah.
But like the Vegas charters, the long ones, imagine those ones coming from Tokyo to Vegas. How much money you would make.
Oh,
When those guys hit it, they hit it hard in Vegas.
That'll be like you going to Tokyo. You'll be looking for a table.
they must have casinos in Japan. I never even thought of that.
Well,
Oh my God,
buddy, that's probably where it was invented.
I got this Google thing. I'm going to look it up.
Are you golfing there?
No. You know what? I don't have plans to golf there, but I'm thinking I gotta. I think I've got to try it. Just what I'm so fascinated about this trip is just the cultural differences that I'm not expecting at all. Anyway, I know when I played in Australia years ago, you're not allowed to you never put the pin on the green. When you pull the pin out, I know Barney, you've never pulled a pin for somebody.
Hey, Barney, how much does a flag weigh? I don't know. Never touched one.
Yeah.
I'm still
It's one of the
COVID.
oldest, great.
I'm still COVID. I want the foam in the bottom of the cup.
Yeah, you want that little, the foam. Well, that was the worst. But yeah, it was one of those things where it was like sacrilegious to let the course flag touch the green. It was just considered just wrong. So I'm sure there's a bunch of traditions in Japan like that I'd be fascinated to learn about.
There is no gambling in Japan. It is illegal.
No?
Yeah, no casinos.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
Oh, here we go. Colson's fact checking.
Horse racing and certain motorsports. But other than that, nothing.
Surely you can wager on the sumo.
You would think so. Sumo waging. Yeah.
Yes.
Apparently, the one article I'm seeing here, they were trying to open it up some more, to legalize some more, and then some sumo wrestlers were betting on baseball and got in trouble for it. So the sumo wrestlers are actually making it worse.
So they're the problem.
Oh boy. So the seedy underbelly of the sumo world. I'm doing a tour while I'm down there where you go. There are no sumo. God, we're going to talk hockey at some point, I swear. But it's a sumo. You go and you just watch them train from 9 a.m. till noon, and then you have lunch with them. And it says you can even challenge them if you want. I'm like, who's putting their hand up to challenge a sumo wrestler?
If you do, could you video it, please, and send it back?
Oh, absolutely. That'll go viral. Me getting pancaked and never to be seen again.
Do the Daniel LaRusso crane kick. See if he knows that move.
Give him the wax on, wax off.
I know it's sumo, it's not karate, but I think it'll just be a fun video to have. Okay, and then the last thing on Japan, and this is kind of serious, and I know we talk about, I got to come to Calgary and we got to swing the wrenches this summer, and I told my wife that, and she's like, okay, well, what am I going to do? And I'm like, I don't know, we'll find something, shop, and drink wine, hit the casino, hit the slappers hard, but check out the golf scene there, because I think that might be a sneaky good golf trip.
Oh, to Calgary?
No, to Japan.
Oh, to Japan. I thought I was saying you're saying Calgary. Yeah, oh, man. Well, I'll be checking it out, so I'll let you know. I mean, that's a pricey one. That's not your boys' weekend trip. You're going to have to go at least a week for that one. But yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, the Canadian dollar goes hard against the yen right now, I'm told.
Yeah, they're at par right now, which is a real nice departure for us because there aren't many places where we can go and get that.
Yeah. You're going to be throwing it around like Ted DiBiase. You're going to have all this yen. Just be glad. Remember when the American and Canadian dollar was at par?
Oh.
That's when we bought our place down south.
It was nuts.
I don't know if I'll ever see that again in my life.
No,
we will.
No, we're all kicking ourselves that we didn't buy places down there. Although now I want nothing to do with the place, so I'd sell it now anyway. But
if I said we're going to Dallas in 2 weeks, you and I, Sharky, we're going to go tee it up, eat some barbecue, and you'd be on that plane with us.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than boys' trips.
You're not wrong.
Although listen to this. Sorry, actually, we're never going to get to hockey today. I did a boys' trip last week, and on the Friday night, after a real fun day, one of the guys in my foursome had a heart attack.
Could happen anytime. Do not blame it on the trip. could happen anytime, anywhere.
Just hold
Could
on.
happen. Yeah. I guess that just speaks to how flipping old I am now. But one of the guys had a heart attack, had to jump into an ambulance, 911. I had to call his wife and let her know that he was having a heart attack. It was insane. That is a buzzkill. I'm telling you, if anyone's ever thinking about doing that, don't ruin your buddy's weekend.
Just hop in an Uber on your own if you get chest pains and be like, hey, guys, I'm going to catch you in a bit.
I'll pick up later. I'm going to swing out. Yeah.
Exactly. Politely excuse yourself, leave the room, and get yourself rushed to hospital in some fashion.
Wow.
And don't ruin everything for the rest of the guys.
Wow.
Yeah, true story. Unbelievable.
That's true. Yeah.
That is a story that you'll tell. Okay, hockey tonight.
Hang on. Before we go to tonight, Peter DeBoer, did he?
Yeah.
He was done before the Ottinger incident, wasn't he? Like the team had passed on him.
Would love to know that. I can't wait to. Jim Nill is one of the all-time great human beings in the league. Had to sit down with him in Edmonton. Like, he's so great and open with people. Like, I'm dying next time I see him to ask where he was at with that whole thing. I mean, listen, 3 years in a row to the final, and never once did you never broke through, or the conference final, and you didn't break through. Maybe it was time to get rid of him, but the way that last one ended, and I think also the way DeBoer conducted himself behind the microphone after that game and throughout the series, I think that all kind of was the final straw, the punctuation mark. So if he was thinking about it, that made it easy. But maybe he was thinking about it all along. I don't know. It's a fascinating one. It's the right call, too. It's the right call.
I always say that coaches have a lifespan, especially when you're on a team in National Hockey League or pro hockey, because the message stops being heard, right? Whatever you're saying, whatever your plan is, whatever it is, it stops being heard. And as you watch Dallas, you thought that they weren't listening to whatever he was preaching anymore.
Agreed. And you know, I pointed out a couple. Look, when Rope Hintz got slashed on the injured foot, and Evan Bouchard just did it and laughed, and there were no repercussions, that told me that that team actually needs a bit of a DNA transplant too. Like Jamie Benn, the captain of all people, should have immediately gone up to Bouchard and let him know in no uncertain terms, you can't slash the foot of our top center and get away with it. So to me, the heartbeat of that team was gone. I'll be fascinated to see if they keep Jamie Benn as their captain or even keep him around, period. You know, his contract's up, and you could probably bring him back for the league minimum. But I'm not sure if you want him or not. I don't know.
Yeah,
it didn't look like it to me.
I agree.
He seemed like he was done, or I don't want to say disinterested, but or maybe the thing was all just too fast for him. I don't know. It seemed like the end for Jamie Benn to me too, and he's had a hell of a career. We forget he won the scoring title in the National Hockey League. That seems like eons ago, but anyway. I think that they still got one of the best cores in the league. God, we've talked about them forever, Barney and I, about how deep they are. But yeah, they just can't seem to come close to getting it done. And so I agree, a new voice is needed. And I saw the list. One of the betting sites sends me lists every time someone gets fired. And I got 21 names on the list. 19 of them are retreads. I don't. Laviolette's the front runner. I don't know.
I don't agree with Peter Laviolette getting a job doing anything. Maybe selling Snickers on the corner, but I think it's time for the retread thing to stop. We look at Spencer Carberry in Washington, how that gave a fresh voice for that organization.
David Carl, in Denver, University of Denver.
That's
coach.
right.
What
He's got to get a look somewhere.
He turned down Chicago, I think.
Yeah, I don't blame him on that, but. There's got to be a new look somewhere in the National Hockey League, and I think Peter DeBoer, Peter Laviolette, we can probably come up with another 20 names. They're done.
John Tortorella.
Yeah, John Tortorella. They're done.
Bruce Boudreau.
Bruce Boudreau is essentially finished. He should never coach again.
Good guy, though. I bet you he's coming to the
Royal.
He's coming to the Royal Regina.
Yeah, he's a ton of fun to drink beer with and tell stories. I don't think he should coach anything.
Should you?
Yeah.
That's why I'm not coaching either.
It. But it's hard, guys. Like, and I heard Barney just coached his team to a wicked championship, and maybe he's on the list now too. But
never know.
You're taking a chance. you take such a big chance when you reach it, even if it's a college hot shot. You know, and I agree. I want these guys in the game. I want someone to take a chance on them. But if I'm the owner and it's my dime and there's so much at stake and the window is small for my team in Dallas, I'm not sure I want to take chances.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I hear you.
No, you're not necessarily taking a chance with the Laviolette. And I'm not a big fan either, but you know what I mean.
That's exactly what I said to my wife the other night. I said, honey, I'm not willing to take a chance on some of these teams and move from Regina to go and coach in the NHL. Like, I'm just not willing to do it right now.
I thought you were going to give her a completely different story about not taking a chance on something else.
Why wouldn't
taking a chance on any of these?
Why wouldn't our last hit be an absolute runaway?
Yeah.
It's awesome. Okay, quickly, you have 25 seconds to tell us about Game 2 tonight in Edmonton. No, seriously though, I haven't sprinkled on this. I hit Draisaitl anytime goal. I put that one on the first one. Sure wish I would have done Draisaitl too. Okay, from after watching Game 1, because I was playing men's night, so I kind of watched sporadically. Who should I anytime goal scorer either team? Who do you feel is gonna pot one tonight?
Draisaitl. I mean, like, you know, I'm not really breaking any news here, but led the league in goals this year. He's feeling it, obviously. McDavid's just playing unbelievable. He's playing like McJesus, and he's setting guys up all over the place. Draisaitl to me is number. Well, don't you guys do the Tim Hortons Daily Challenge? I do it every single day of my life. Please tell me to do it.
No,
Come on.
No, I don't.
No.
Robin's
You don't
Donuts.
even know what I'm talking about?
Robin's Donuts
Actually,
guy.
I don't.
Thousands of your listeners know. If you have the Tim Hortons app, every day they have the NHL Challenge. You go on, and you got lists of guys in 3 different groups. All you got to do is pick the goal scorers in each group, and for every one you get points. So I haven't paid for a coffee in a year.
You're going to be in Japan, even Tim Hortons in Tokyo, being like, hey, no, this is a legit thing. We don't have that here, sir.
We don't honor that here. Apparently, airports don't honor any of them, and neither does Japan. So, I'll have to pay for a coffee there.
I love Stu. Like every game that goes by, I just think that I love Stuart Skinner more and
So
more
do
and
I.
more.
I don't know why he's got such a hard rap.
Isn't it funny? Because he's one of those guys. He's kind of like who was the guy? Soupy Campbell there. Kind of his predecessor in Edmonton, and that didn't work out that well. But everybody loved him. Everybody loved him, even when he was struggling. It made people love him almost even more. I'm with you. He's showing a real human side that is really resonating with people, and the fact that he's turned it around and been a real redemption story. It's one of the best stories that we've seen in the playoffs so far this year. That and Sean Monahan getting the mastered in. God, if people haven't seen that video, I love what the league's doing with the new presentations. It's just fantastic.
No, it's very nice. They do a great job, and the Vegas thing was fun, but this is even better.
Boys, it's been so much fun all year long. I can't believe I didn't get canceled, not just from this gig, but from my job. I'm glad we kept it on the rails most of the time, and look forward to doing it. You guys call me anytime this summer. This summer, you're coming in on the Greyhound if that's what it takes.
It's called Rider Express now.
Yeah,
but I'll be the guy that takes the pillow on the bus, and then just a real stinky sandwich or something in Tupperware.
Some leftover walleye in Tupperware.
Would you guys believe it if I told you that like 70% of NHLers travel with their own pillow?
Oh, I totally believe it. Yeah.
It's like I mean, their travel's so easy, and everyone carries a pillow for them. It's not like they got to walk around like Linus or whatever with his blanket. But you know, that's hilarious to me, and I get it. Like you know, a different bed in every city. But I thought at first it was really cute. Then I kind of think, well, is that kind of sad? I don't know. It's amazing to see so many guys walking around with their pillows when they get to the bus.
August might be the month that I figure out a plan to get to Calgary. But it's been so much fun. When do you leave to Japan?
I leave Sunday.
Okay. Well, I don't know what the time. I'll check out the time change because I'm in a 244 person match, the biggest match play golf tournament in Canada, one of next week in Waskesiu. So you're going to want to update. So I'll make sure I update every match and for you. I'll send you text messages probably early in the morning there.
But go hole by hole because I want to hear it all.
Okay.
and,
True.
And I have a game that a buddy of mine just invented, and I played it. It's called rodeo golf, and we'll explain it to the listeners next time we chat. And it is the most fun I've had playing golf. It wasn't the day somebody had a heart attack. It was a different day.
Heart attack ruined the day for everybody.
Yeah. So this is a great idea. We'll share that next time.
How good was your boys' trip? Well, a guy had a heart attack.
It was a pretty good trip.
What?
Yeah.
So much fun all the time. Yeah.
I want the sumo video. Eric, send the sumo video.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll send that. You boys take care. Enjoy the game tonight, and we'll talk real soon.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
Kampai.
Our NHL insider, Eric Francis.
That's Japanese for cheers. Kampai.
I figured that.
Yeah. I'm multi-talented. I got a lot going on.
God,
I know a lot of things.
That'd be an awesome place to go golf, I bet.
I would bet it. I'll Google that. What's golf cost in Japan?
Okay, do that. We got to take a break. That went really long. Absolute runaway. Why wouldn't the last one be just off the rails like that? I love it. Eric Francis will be back. Thanks to Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Southie, Saskatchewan, for sponsoring that all year. It is the Sports Cage. We're streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM. All right, clutch performer. I don't know how deep we got to go here. Like mine would be Thomas Bertrand Hudon. 14 carries, 57 yards last night for the Riders. He had the 40-yard one comeback. Yeah. One touchdown pass out of the backfield. Just everything you'd want in a next man up.
Exactly.
Right? Who do you got?
I got the guy at halftime, the musician, Braden King.
Nice.
Right? Microphone failure. Didn't phase him. Got the crowd to sing. For a young guy to be on stage, have that kind of charisma and personality to fight through that. Nicely job, Braden King. Look forward to seeing you again.
He's 6'9".
Yeah, he's a big bugger. Yeah. Yeah, he's big.
Coulson.
He could. You know what? We were short on offensive lineman. He could have jumped in.
That's it. That joke's been used like 8 times this week on the show.
We didn't know that Braden King was 6'9" till today.
No, Craig Reynolds told us on Monday.
Really? Oh,
and then everyone was like, we should put him on offensive line. I get a Kirkland golf shirt on and laugh. Go ahead, Coulson.
My clutch performer is everyone on the production side of that game because first full game of the year went pretty flawlessly. An extra special shout out to Curtis and Alan, my 2 teammates. They ran the post-game shows yesterday, did a phenomenal job of it, and Alan had a great idea. We rethought a couple things and worked flawlessly. So clutch performer, those 2.
What was the idea?
Yeah.
Beer fridge
basically, no. Basically, behind the scenes, we got the call-in show, right?
Yeah.
Curtis is sitting here and has a lot of buttons to push with video, audio, all that stuff. So Alan's in to man the phone line. Well, there's not a whole lot of room over here, as you can see on the stream. So it's like, how is Alan going to fit in here? And he's like, wait a minute. We've got the other studio that still has the phone hooked up. So he went off to the other studio all on his own, just taking all the phone calls over there. Worked flawlessly.
That was inside baseball. There's a lot of people listening going, what? What? If you're not watching the stream, they're just like,
this means nothing to me.
Good ones, fellas. Also, clutch performer. I got to give a clutch performer to the boys at Freeze Tallman and girls. But you might have to come over and help me do my stairs.
I've told you this is.
Can you do it?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Derek and Jace and Mark, Swami, and Mark. They said, "Okay, you got like." They're like, you're going to need this material. It's all good. Then they put me up with 2 guys because that's what they do there.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do the job.
They know people.
And then, so the one guy's on holidays and the other guy's really backed up. And they're like, it's not that big of a job. So all of a sudden my wife starts saying she can do it. And I'm like,
no, she can't.
But she is the most determined person I've ever met in my life. Like if you said, hey, if we were on a plane and both pilots had a heart attack, and it was like, who can land this plane?
She'd jump up.
She'd watch YouTube videos, and then she would go and do it. I'm quite confident that she could land a plane without trying. And just so determined. But could you do this? My stairs.
Yeah.
You got to lop them off. That's the terminology they used. And then we just got to rebuild it.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
How long is it going to take you? Is this a beer and pizza, like guy moving or building a deck guy? Like, I'm cool with that. Or do you want to do like a nice meal?
Oh, this is steak and a bottle of wine. This is not beer and pizza.
Like somewhere in the Northwest?
There's no steakhouse up there, is there?
You didn't say it had to be a steakhouse. You said steak and a bottle of wine.
It's not hard. We can pull this off. And you know what? It'll be a learning experience for you.
Yeah, sure it will. Okay, I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay.
Clutch performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey, Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer.
Do you need railing too?
Yeah. But they can hook us all up.
We'll get to the garage sale later.
Okay. You got to go.
Yeah.
Okay, NASCAR report. Are we going to split it? We're
going live?
Intro. Here we go. Intro time.
The SportsCage NASCAR Report, where rubbin' is racing, is brought to you by Croft Electric. 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all your electrical needs. Visit croftelectric.com and on all socials.
You know what? Last week in Nashville, you wanted the Dinger to win the Cracker Barrel.
Yep.
In Nashville, didn't happen. He finished 20th. Allmendinger did not get it. Ryan Blaney, though, defending champion from 2 years ago, won in Nashville, shook the monkey off his back. He did some tough races this year, hadn't finished a few. So Blaney gets his first win of the year with Team Penske. Biggest news, though, Carson Hocevar, who hasn't really had a great year, finished second by 2 seconds behind Blaney and jumped up 5 spots in the standings. So Carson Hocevar and his Chevy had a heck of a day.
Hocevar, what nationality is that?
It doesn't list that on his thing. Yeah. He's American because everybody that drives except one is American in NASCAR. And that guy's Mexican, Daniel Suarez.
Helio Castroneves?
He does not drive in NASCAR. No.
I know.
They don't.
I just love that handle.
So do I. I think that's a great handle. But no, Helio Castroneves does not race NASCAR. This week, we're at Michigan. Great track, Michigan International Speedway. We go Sunday at 2 p.m. My money's on William Byron in this one. William Byron is in first place right now. He's got about a 50-some point lead on teammate Kyle Larson, and I think Byron is the favorite this week in Michigan. That's my pick.
What about Allmendinger?
Allmendinger will not be the favorite in this track. Allmendinger's a road course guy. That's where you look to him.
No, but he works so hard to be more of a oval guy.
You know what? He's driving a great Chevy. He's doing a great job. I like Allmendinger. He's a nice young fella, but he's a road course guy.
Be a good guy to drink with, guaranteed.
I'll bet you he's got a story or two. The guy you want to drink with is probably Kyle Busch.
No, Reddick.
No, Kyle Busch. Because Kyle Busch hates everybody, and everybody hates Kyle Busch.
I want to drink with Reddick just to talk about his boys, Pokey and Eldon and Smokey, and their NHL careers.
Pokey and Smokey. Yeah. So we're off to Michigan. Yeah, going to be a good race Sunday. Again, looking for Byron to be out on top.
27 years of reliable service in and around Regina. Croft Electric brings you the NASCAR report. CroftElectric.com on all socials. You know what the other thing? CroftElectric.com too on the internet.
Yep.
Or the web.
That worldwide thing. Yep.
The lights. I noticed some people
Christmas lights.
They're not Christmas only.
No.
I noticed some people have green and white in the neighborhood yesterday.
Yeah, you can change the colors. You can have them on anytime you want.
Those fancy lights that your neighbors might have.
Permanently installed.
With last name Allmendinger. You can get those with Croft Electric.
Yeah, and they look really good on any house.
They look really good.
And they're invisible. You can't even see them until they're on.
And then just anything electrical, if something like breaks or you got like electrical, unless you're my wife, because she's determined to fix everything on her own. Call Croft Electric.
I look forward to her being out there when we're doing the deck.
Thanks, Crofty. Sponsor of the NASCAR Report. Break time. We're coming back with the ticker. It is a Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com. Perfect time on a Friday to go out and talk to Brian Raymond from Flowing Springs Golf Course just outside Regina. Brian, how was it today? A little bit breezy.
A little bit breezy, but you know what? Everybody's happy. The course is nice and green. Green is the color out here, just like the Riders. And you know what? If you wait for a calm day around here, you might never golf. So get out and do it. But it's warm. You know, the nice thing is it's windy, but it's warm, and that's really what matters.
Brian, I have a question for you. What is the hole-in-one numbers this year? What do you got for hole-in-ones at the course this year?
I think we've had one.
That's it, eh?
Yeah. All right, the thing about our golf course is that, we have some long holes, obviously, like the first hole, but our par threes are not easy.
No.
So
No.
it's that's part of the problem, I think, as far as getting holes in one. But we do get holes in one, and we have a wall of honor here where anybody who's had a hole in one in the history of the Flowing Springs, it's up there on the wall.
Ooh, anybody famous on there?
Yeah.
No.
Infamous? Should we go with infamous?
If you're going to go infamous, I have it. I have one. I'm up there.
There, good for you. That's what I want to hear.
Really, we always talk about it, but people that haven't maybe picked it up. It's such a reasonable place to play golf throughout the week, Brian.
Absolutely. Right now, of course, from every day, like I should mention this too, like our specials run every day. So after, like our twilight specials, after 3 o'clock, it's $38. After 6 o'clock, it's $22. And then, of course, we have our great specials during the week on Monday and Wednesday for ladies and seniors, $39 to come and play. And one of the things that we should always point out is that we do have a 9-hole rate, and it's available anytime. And it's there.
Yeah.
So, that's someplace that you can't always get sometimes.
And then if people want to come out and use the unbelievable driving range, grass driving range, and do lessons, can you do lessons?
We do lessons, and yes, we have a fantastic driving range. It's very, very large, no mats. It's all grass. We've got target greens. We've got a chipping green out there. So there's lots of room. And you don't have to make a booking. Some folks are calling and saying, can we make a booking to get on the driving range? No, you don't have to do that. Just come on out and see us.
Yeah,
I love it.
Grab a pint from the clubhouse and go out and swing the wrenches.
That's a good point. We are licensed, so it's absolutely they can grab a point.
All right, Brian, how do they find you?
Give us a call at 306-543-5050, and you can book online at flowingspringsgolf.com.
Thanks, Brian. Talk to you next week.
You betcha. Have a great weekend.
Cheers.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sports. Whatever your sport is, Extreme Hockey has you covered.
Oilers-Panthers tonight, Game 2, Stanley Cup Final. Who you got?
Oilers.
Oil, eh? Western Canadian Baseball League, East Division. Last night, it was Regina over Swift Current. They play again tonight at the home of Wong's Cafe. Also, Fort Mac in town tomorrow. If you're looking for something to do on a Saturday, watch a little baseball.
Great
Red
day
Sox,
for ball.
Fort Mac. Fort Mac's in Weyburn tonight. Saskatoon at Moose Jaw. Blue Jays playing Minnesota tonight after taking 2 of 3 from the Phillies. And no NBA till Sunday. Pacers up 1-0 on Oklahoma. Supposed to be an unbelievable game. 1-point game last night. That is your Sports Ticker in Hour 2 for Extreme Hockey and Sport. Whatever your spring sport is, baseball, hockey, golf, anything, Extreme Hockey has you covered. They've always been local and supporting local. Hour 3, we're going to talk to Glen Suitor. It is the Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com if you want to watch the video. And as always, on the radio, 620 CKRM. Welcome back. Friday into the weekend. Maybe you're cruising out to the lake to go watch the Whitecaps. Jeez, it's windy out there. Lester, tomorrow's the
calm day.
No, it's definitely not. Tomorrow's the NFL flag regional tournament championship here in Regina. So the University of Regina fields will be buzzing.
There'll be an anthill.
Most teams they've ever had for the Regina event, Mike Thomas was saying. Flag football is crazy in the city. That'll be going on. That's a lot of fun. What else is going on? Tomorrow the Red Sox are playing.
Red Sox playing tomorrow.
At home. If you haven't listened to the show today and you just want a good, clean laugh, go back and listen to it in a podcast form. Eric Francis wasn't on video, so Colson won't be able to make shorts. We talked to Eric today for about, and if you guys know the Eric Francis segments can kind of go off the rails. We talked to Eric today for about 35 minutes, and Colson, how much of it was actually hockey talk?
3 maybe.
I think that might be high.
It was so much fun.
And
he's going to Japan.
What's the number one sports podcast in Saskatchewan? What is it?
I know what's the number one podcast is.
What is it?
I'm not going to say it.
It's the Sports Cage.
Cheesy.
Yeah, well, maybe cheesy, but if you don't blow your own horn, you don't toot what you're doing, nobody else is going to do it. You got to sell yourself.
I used to tell the boys in high school. But
and the girls.
Eric Francis is such a pro. And you can tell he used to do like a radio show.
Yeah.
Like a morning show.
Yeah.
He's funny. He's going to, it's how it started, but when he's going to Japan to holiday. And yeah, it just went off the rails. It was a lot of fun. Farhan Lalji in hour one talking CFL. Very intriguing game tomorrow night, I think.
Yes.
Tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night.
The two tomorrow. Yep.
And then tonight it's Toronto and Montreal.
I'm interested to see
playing.
Davis Alexander play for Montreal tonight.
Yeah.
Yep. Although I'll have to record it because I'll be watching the Oiler game.
That's a good one to watch. Okay, and then later this hour, Prairie Golf Gems.
Yes.
I've never played this golf course, so stay tuned in. Colson, I don't know if you put it out in podcast form. Sageview.
Riverhurst. Yeah.
Riverhurst. Yeah.
Yes. 9-hole track. Supposed to have one of the most beautiful holes in the province from a scenery standpoint.
We talk about that.
Love to get there.
And there's a stay and play.
Why are we not going on the road with this show? Like, what's the budget issue?
Everything. Everyone's excuse for everything. Tariffs. It's like when the pandemic was on, and then it was like, call volumes are higher than they appear. Now everyone just plays that stupid recording because they just got rid of everybody.
Yep.
And it's like, no, it's not. You just cheaped out. You don't have enough people answering the phone. That's why a business that I call that has SaskTel's great. Access Communications great. If they answer the phone, you moved way up the list on the Shynkaruk.
If you just give me the bullcrap answer, not interested.
That annoying.
Yeah. Don't have time.
And then if they reply on social media, like Twitter, sometimes that's a sneaky way to get a hold of some companies. I'm not going to ruin it and say which ones that I always. But someone did call in and say they bought a Samsung fridge, or they were thinking about buying a Samsung fridge.
Take it back.
And because of my rant earlier this week about the ice makers and the Samsung fridge,
take it back.
The worst thing ever invented.
Yeah.
No. So they're going to go with a Frigidaire, I think they said. Same company, same place.
You were going to ask me a trivia question today.
I don't remember.
Remember we talked about the trivia question and the Iserman and the Dino Cicerelli, right? And Marcel Dion.
That's a lot of brain cells ago.
Yeah. And you said, I've got one for you. And then you stopped.
It'll come back to me.
Yeah, probably Sunday afternoon.
Maybe when we're in Plentywood. We just talked about that. Hey, let's not go off the rails anymore on the show.
Golf gems. Are you going to talk about Willowbunch? We got to do Willowbunch.
No, but next week is Madge Lake. I can tease you with that.
Front 10, back 8.
I'm at the Lobstick, so I pre-recorded it. I'm doing it. Sharky's always brought to you by Flooring Superstores in Regina. 25% off almost the entire warehouse right now. If you need flooring, Trent Dick and his experienced staff, over 30 years in business, go check them out at Flooring Superstore like you did.
I did. It was great. Yeah.
It's always good when you
picked out a couple of nice choices.
You can do a testimonial. And after I get my stairs at Fries Tallman Lumber that you come and help me install.
Me and your wife are going to put those up.
We will be the testimonial for Fries Tallman will be buttoned up. All right, let's talk football. Has Glenn landed? We're talking with Glenn.
Glenn's on the phone.
Time now for press coverage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glen Suitor on the Sports Cage. Brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, Glen Suitor. Our segment. Good on you, Glenn, for I don't know how quick your turnaround was from the airport to get home, but you're there, you're getting ready for tomorrow night. Very intriguing matchup. But last night, what I asked this with I'll ask the same lead-in question that I asked Farhan. Did you learn anything from either team last night that you possibly didn't know?
That is a good question. Well, I think, first of all, with the Riders, clearly they're going to be committed to the run. That was a question for me. I mean, not even when Ouellette went out, Bertrand Houdon kept it, kept that running game alive, had 2 touchdowns. So, Mueller was not going away from his commitment to the run, which I think is important because, so many OCs don't do that. So that was something I saw. It took a while for, not a surprise here, but it took a little bit of a series or two for the defense to kind of find its way early on. That first drive by Drew Brown was, textbook, really, just textbook.
Dissected that zone.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the known stuff, Trevor Harris, when he wants to go after a defense and you try to play zone against him, and like he just picks you apart. Pick your poison with the guy. A couple times Ottawa tried to blitz. He threw right into the teeth of the blitz and completed passes. Sam Emilus, big game. You talked about flag. Sam Emilus got to be on our flag team, our national flag team. I'm just saying. Anyway, he's such a smooth route runner, guys. What did I pick up? I think Mitch Picton is ready to take another step in his development. I just, it wasn't a big numbers night for him, but it was some clutch second down catches, second down conversions. And he's got a bit of an air about him that it looks like he's got another level of confidence there. And I think we could see some bigger things out of him. Shane Ray was a guy I was watching for the Riders. And there were a couple of off the edge one-on-one rushes that it was a wow factor for me. Now, I didn't get always to the replays of those. Sometimes we were going in a different direction. The producer would take us somewhere else. But I saw a couple of times where, man, he can be dominant. So I'm looking for big things from Shane Ray this year. And he's got the great NFL resume and everything else. So, but you asked what surprised me. There weren't a lot. Honestly, it had its moments. I think the second and the third were big for the Riders. The first, it took them a while to get their feet under them. They did that. I didn't see any discipline issues for them. Did for Ottawa, but certainly not for Saskatchewan. That's good news. Hate to see the injuries, guys. Just hate to see them. But, we got to stop mourning them too. The guys understand what they signed up for. They're going to get treatment. They're going to be back. And in the meantime, that's why you build depth on the team. That's why you build depth in the offseason. Yeah.
Well, offensive line, we've talked about it last year. I don't know, what did we go through last year? Like a Costco-size offensive line backups, right? And now already we're on like number 5's down already. We got Gagnon's gone. The guy we signed from Calgary's gone. Now this kid's gone. Brammer's got a bad back. Like, I can't.
Peyton Collins. Oh, that's what you're saying.
Collins. Yeah. I can't give Jeremy O'Day enough credit for the guys he's brought in to continue to make that offensive line good.
Yeah, and maybe that was one of the surprises for me, Sharky, was the Peyton Collins playing left tackle. And it was a surprise, not because I watched him a ton. I mean, I did ISO on him a couple times and take a look at him, and he was holding his own and then some. I mean, he went up against, either Bryce Carter or Lorenzo Malden. And that you're talking about with Malden, you're talking about a perennial all-star.
Yeah.
So this for his first start, and he's 23, 24 years old. I mean, if we're not talking about him, it's a good thing. It's kind of like a DB. If you're not really talking about him, it's because he's covering his guy and there's no big plays behind him. But offensive line, it's even more so. You don't talk about them on the broadcast. It means they're doing well. And there were times. I mean, how many times in that game did Trevor Harris get hit? Like hit hard?
No.
One. The interception.
Yeah. Right in his face. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. But other than that, pretty clean game.
Yeah.
It's like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning back in the day. Anthony Calvillo never really got hit. And if you're not talking, that whole thing where you're not talking about it, you're just doing your job, you're doing a good thing. That's like being married, boys. That's like being married, right? Up and down your wing or whatever it is.
Stay in your lane.
Puck out of the zone. Don't cause any trouble. Don't want coach yelling at you in the locker room. Okay. This is good. I circled this one on the Prairieland Rentals text line. Dion from Regina brought it up. Harris looked great, but Ottawa replaced their whole secondary this year for the worst. Wait until the Riders face a real D and backfield. What's your comment to that, Glenn?
Well, my comment to that is he's right on the secondary. Their secondary from last year is completely different. All five different this year. So that's true. But their front seven is not. And I mentioned their D-line because their D-line on paper is as good as anyone in the league. Their linebackers were Santos Knox in the middle, Adarius Pickett at one of the linebacker spots. Those are veteran guys. So they have a really good defensive front seven. So, I hear you. There's going to be better defenses that they face, and you got to keep evolving. But you also are game planning about what you see in the moment and attacking what you see in the moment. Like CJ Colton for the Ottawa Redblacks on the corner, there was a whole series where Trevor Harris was just throwing it underneath to Myers, and Colton was playing about 15 yards off and was basically out of the picture. And Trevor took advantage of that. So the question is right. They are young. Trevor, the veteran quarterback, took advantage of that secondary being a little young, especially on the outside. And the next game, maybe it's a linebacking core that is the weakness of a defense or the inexperience in the defense, and that's where they want to attack it. And then you'll see a different style of offense go after, more crossing routes, things like that. So, screen plays where you get it to your back or to one of your receivers, and then the only guys that make those plays are usually the linebackers. So if you're playing against a team with weaker linebackers, that's where you go after. And I think every game plan will change. So it's a right observation, but that's the job of the quarterback and the offense. Find the weaknesses, find the inexperience, and go after them. If you got rookies on the corner, test them. That's why everyone was, groaning. I heard a lot of groans. By the way, it was great to be back in Mosaic to kick it off with that big Canadian flag. The flag that is as big as the field, absolutely loved it. But, when that first series happened for Trevor Harris and they went 2-0 and he went deep on the second down play and it was incomplete, like it looked like Schaefer Baker he was supposed to bend in and he didn't, or maybe Trevor threw it to the wrong spot. But either way, whoever was at fault there, was just a incompletion. I said on the air, it's never wrong to test the defense, especially a young secondary, deep, early. Even if you don't complete it, you plant a seed in the DB's mind. You know what Matt Dunnigan used to tell me before every game when I played against him? He used to walk over, say hi, and then he'd say, you know what? You never go wrong when you go long. Keep that in mind. And I'd walk away going, oh, you're getting ready to sling it deep on us. I swear, I would go back and look at the film. And
he'd throw underneath all day.
Yeah, well, and sure enough, I was instead of lining up at 10 yards deep, I was lining up at 12.
Yeah.
And I thought, he planted a seed on me, and I'm not going to let that mind game happen again.
Yeah. We gotta play poker with Glenn. Sometimes that's what we got. That's what we got to do.
In, Glenny.
Next time you're in town, Glenn, let's set up a table at the Hotel Sask. Okay, I caught this. Speaking of groaning, this is so funny. Listen to Coach Mace in our post game on the Rider Broadcast Network. Listen to him when Dave Thomas mentions that, hey, you know what? Defense played pretty good even though you gave up 400 yards. Listen, this is funny.
Up 400 yards in passing today, but I don't know if that number is truly indicative of the way the game went. I thought your defense was pretty good. What did you see?
It's we got some stuff.
That's so good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's the coach saying, okay, we got the 2 points. That was the goal. Now let's get and regroup on defense. I mean, over 400 yards. But here's the other thing. If Ottawa kicks a field goal just before the half and they had a chance, that Justin Hardy catch, if he goes down right when he catches it, they're in field goal range and probably have 1 or 2 seconds left to kick a field goal. So that's 3 points there. And then at the end of the game, there was a couple of other decisions that, could have turned into another 3 points. It was a one-possession game in the end, and there were a couple of opportunities that if Ottawa takes advantage of those, we might have sort of the miraculous finish. Oh, I know what it was. It was Drew Brown had the ball with minute 20. He had the final possession with a chance to win it.
Yeah.
And defense came through, and that's where Jameer Thurman made the sack right down the middle, which was a huge play. But that's that when you give the offense the ball in a one possession game in the CFL, they can make it turn it quickly. Hey, one unsung hero for me in the game, and I'm sure you guys have talked about him, or certainly the post game guys did. Mario Alford.
Yes.
I've said many times that it doesn't have to be a touchdown. We all love those. And the 80-yarder where he beats everybody and flies down the sideline.
Field position, baby.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Barney, especially when Ottawa scores and they go up by 7 and Mario Alford takes it back to midfield, all of a sudden the whole team feels better. And probably the stadium too. They go, oh,
we did.
Oh,
yeah. We did.
We're right back. Yeah. We're right back at it, and we're a first down away from at least a field goal and maybe more. So his big returns in field position, so important. I think he was one of the unsung heroes.
Do you think he played with a burn under his saddle based on everybody was talking about this new kid that was coming in, was going to be the next answer, and Mario was being nice to him, saying, run the ball here, do this. Do you think he kind of went, all right, now time for you to sit on the practice roster. The big boys are going to play.
Well, Sharky, the best way to motivate a player is to put a really good player on the depth chart behind him. I mean, You can make all the speeches you want. You can get them riled up. You can challenge them verbally. You can push them on practice. The best way to get the most out of every player is to have that guy behind him on the depth chart be as good as him or better. And you're the veteran, so it's still your job. But if you slip, this guy's going in.
He's ready.
I guarantee you Mario was thinking that. And he was, it's not something you're consciously out going, I got to beat this guy out. You're concentrating on the game. But there's that extra fire where you say, hey, and here's the thing about returners. Returners lose their game not because of age or anything like that, or injury with, when you're talking like running backs or something like that. But returners lose their game when they lose their fearlessness. I mean, you think about catching a punt, 12 guys bearing down on you, and you're going full speed the other way, they're coming full speed this way. I mean, that takes it. You have to be fearless to be a great returner. Hit the hole full speed, and if it's there, great. If it's not, you get whacked. And that's, Mario still got it clearly because he was the unsung hero of that game to me.
It's like walking home from Dudney Avenue these days. Be fearless. You gotta be fearless. Like what?
Well, I was going to go off football here. Can I go off football now?
No, I want to ask one more thing.
Okay, you asked football.
We got about 3 minutes left here,
okay.
Glenn.
Okay.
But I said it before, and you've seen it in the league, where a guy maybe has a little bit of a coming out party, a little bit of like, national audience, the only game, season. What a time for Thomas Bertrand Hudon to go off.
Loved it.
But like I'm saying, like you've seen it where it's like, I think we're going to be talking about this guy for quite a few years. If he stays healthy, knock on wood, not just with the Riders, maybe he ends up somewhere else. I think he's that guy that we're going to talk about for the next 5 years. Something, I don't know why, I just feel that.
Yeah, well, you can tell by his confidence level. I mean, even on smaller runs, like 1 or 2 yards, he was getting up and, the potential was there. And remember, there was a 30-yarder, 35-yarder that was called back for a
40-something.
40-something.
Low 40s.
Yeah. So when if you add that to his totals, he had a monster game. Again, he was the other unsung hero of the game. But I think he can be a keeper, and the only thing that's holding him back from being a regular player is opportunity. And he's got a great mentor right now, too, by the way, a Canadian star running back in Andrew Harris. And honestly, we talked about it in the booth. I saw a little bit of Andrew Harris in his running style. He's still Bertrand Hudon. He's still himself. He's still his style. But I saw a little bit of that patience at the line of scrimmage, kind of taking the ball, taking a hop step, and then hitting it. And he created a lot on his own too. I thought he had a great game, and I'm happy for him. It's excellent.
Glenn, it's interesting you used the word fearless, and today is the 81st anniversary of one of the greatest events in the history of the world that you got to be at that location. Not to be a part of it, but at that location. Your thoughts to share on Juno Beach and the history and the anniversary of D-Day.
Yeah, I thought about that this morning. I sent the guy I went to travel to Normandy with, I sent him a text. I sent him a picture of us standing on the beach. And, Sharky, it reminded me of standing, it was low tide because we checked in the history books that it was low tide when they attacked. And the reason for that was the obstructions that the Germans had put in on the beaches, those big metal crosses that the landing boats were getting hung up on if the water was too deep. So they wanted to wait for low tide before the invasion started. And we went out there in low tide, and I looked at how far it was from the water's edge to where they would have to get to find any type of shelter or cover. And honestly, it felt like miles. I just looked at it, and you almost get emotional thinking, when those doors open, these 19, 20, 21-year-old, 22-year-old young men that hit that beach were completely open to all of that German fire, and they kept going, and they liberated that country, and they liberated that. The Canadians were the first to liberate in Normandy on Juno. The Canada House is still there if you go see it. I hope everybody still and will always, remember the greatest generation, because you get emotional standing there looking at it thinking, that's courage. That's courage.
Yeah. That's fearless.
Running for a touchdown is great, and it's fun, and it's awesome, but courage is what those guys did. That's what courage is.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah,
Appreciate
well put.
that.
And we both were waiting to ask you about that today because you were just there. It was awesome. All right, busy one. Snoop Dogg on Saturday. Why does everyone laugh as soon as I say Snoop Dogg? Why has everyone got to laugh?
It's going to be awesome.
I'm a big fan. I talked to Farhan earlier. I said I want to know the set list.
Yeah, well, Barney, I was funny because I asked Rod last night. We did a promo of the game, and I asked him on the air. Like I didn't plan this. I didn't tell him in advance. So I asked him on the air. I said, "What's your favorite Snoop Dogg song? Because we're going to Vancouver next." And he actually had an answer. Like he was immediate with a song that he goes, "Oh, I'm hoping he's playing this one." And I was like, "No, I was asking you the question so sarcastically we could say I don't know any Snoop Dogg songs. It's for a younger generation." But honestly, as you mentioned, I know I'm going to know them all. Over 50,000 sold for the game tomorrow night. Can't wait. 2 Canadian quarterbacks going at it. I'm going to mention that every time.
Yeah, love it. All right, I'm up north at a golf tournament next week when we chat, so you'll be with Maz and this guy and a little bit of everybody else. But we'll catch up in a couple weeks' time. Glenn, have fun Saturday night and roll one for me, buddy.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Press coverage with Glen Suitor for Bronco Plumbing and Hoodie. It's legal now in our country.
It's totally legal.
Snoop loves it.
Yeah, Snoop. I'm surprised he hasn't moved here. Yeah.
For Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed.
Probably got better stuff at home in the garage.
Treat you right. That's another thing, because we get the electrical with Croft Electric, and we get the plumbing with Bronco Plumbing and Heating, and then Freeze Tallman
with the deck.
You pretty much got everything on the sports cage. If you're doing something
whatever
in the house.
you need, we got it.
There was our neighbor's air conditioner was a little bit on the fritz, and I said Bronco Plumbing and Heating. I said, and then they're going to tell you if you don't need anything. They'll be like, you just got to blow out this, whatever part.
Take your compressor.
Yeah, and that's the kind of guys that they are, and girls, at Bronco Plumbing and Heating, 781-2090. All right, Prairie Golf Gem Report still coming up. Love it. And maybe we'll cover a little, we'll go some gambling picks here for tonight in the hockey game. Sports Cage on 620 CKRM. about 25 minutes away, maybe a little anthem action and some tomfoolery, so maybe 29 minutes away from puck drop. Oilers, Panthers tonight. You taking the Oilers?
Oilers. Yeah. Put a little pesos down on that.
I hammered the over. I needed over 6. Just a little tidbit for you.
I'm going to go look at that.
Excuse me. Western Canadian Baseball League. Swift Current hosting Regina again tonight. Red Sox won 10-3 last night. Red Sox playing baseball here in Regina against Fort Mac tomorrow. Fort Mac's in Weyburn tonight. Saskatoon travels into Moose Jaw. Blue Jays playing mini tonight, coming off 2 of 3 from the Phillies. No NBA. That goes Sunday, game 2, after a thrilling game number 1. And then don't forget, if you're up around Saskatoon, Sunday afternoon, it's the Rattlers Vancouver. Family pack starting at just $99. They're trying to break the attendance record for the CEBL in Saskatoon. Nice. Sunday afternoon against Vancouver if you want to watch a little basketball. That is your sports ticker in hour 3. 4, Steelcraft Doors, Regina. Steelcraft Doors, Steelcraft Doors. That jingle is so good. Over 40,000 square feet they're opening up here in Regina. So if you need a door,
on Park Street,
they're going to be able to get it to you.
Yeah.
If you need something, they're going to be able to have it. Made in Western Canada for Western Canada.
Exciting new location they got coming up. Yep. Very exciting.
Okay, we got about a minute and a half, Colson.
What did you say to
before
take
we go to
over?
The Prairie Golf Gem Report?
What did you have the over at?
We're looking at Sageview Golf Course today. I had the over at 6.
Are we having 2 different conversations here?
Yes.
Okay.
I had the over at 6. If you didn't listen to the Eric Francis segment and you want to laugh this weekend, go and listen to that. What are you getting? 6.5?
I got 6 and 5.5.
Oh, take 5.5. Put whatever. You're having a garage sale this weekend, you said?
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. You want to throw the address out for people?
Hey, you know what? The whole Whitmore Park Community Association, so the whole Whitmore Park area of town is having a garage sale. So
what time?
Saturday, like 8:30, right?
You just broke the mic.
And I broke the mic. And cool thing I've got, and I sent Colson the picture. I don't know if he can put it up on the stream, but I have got a 1991 Toronto Blue Jays All-Star jacket that Roots and Coca-Cola put out. It's got the big logo on the back. That will be in the garage sale, Marsh Crescent, Saturday morning.
Not even Coca-Cola Classic. The other Coca-Cola.
The original Coca-Cola.
No, they came out with original Coca-Cola, then they went to a different Coca-Cola, and then they went to Coca-Cola Classic. That was that whole...
Whatever. I got a jacket, right? The cool part's the Toronto Blue Jays part on the back.
And how much do you think this is going to sell? You asked me what I would give you for it. I said $5, and you said no.
I looked it up online. They're going for $100.50.
Do you think in a Whitmore Park garage sale this weekend, you're going to get $100.50 for that jacket?
No, I'm asking $100.
You might get $100.
Yeah,
somebody's coming by. That's an impulse buy too. And then you're closed up shop. If they come knock on your door later, you don't answer. If you're watching the stream, there is the jacket.
There is the jacket. That's the back of it. Yeah.
My wife bought an awful jacket once. And then she always goes that I almost bought a fur vest in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I was buckled. We were there for the Sunday Nighter Patriots. And the night before, there was a flea market in the bar. And I'm like, what is going on here? I might buy this fur vest.
So speaking of buckled and buying things, I got a hole-in-one at the Royal on 14, right?
Yeah.
Get buckled in the Power Hour. End up at Paradise Leisurescapes, ending up buying a pool stool to go in my pool for like $500. Had to look at my Visa card the next day. What did I do? Oh, boy. Yeah.
Whitmore Park. If I bring a bunch of totes tomorrow later in the afternoon, can I just sell them on your driveway?
Without a doubt.
Awesome.
Drop it off.
I love it. Okay,
we'll add it to the mix.
Prairie Golf Gem, Sageview Golf Course. That's coming up. After that, we are kaput. Talk to you Monday. Welcome back to the Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com as always on 620 CKRM. If you downloaded the app and listening to it, maybe on your Alexa or whatever, too, comes in FM quality there. One of the things we started here, being the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, is Prairie Golf Gems and just courses around the province. Thanks to all of you who have messaged in and told us to maybe showcase a couple of them. We are making a list. We're going to try and get to them all. This one came up a few times. Now, this is one that I have never played. I love playing golf, obviously. Not very good at it, but just love getting out there. There's so many good little gems in Saskatchewan that I haven't played still. Sageview Golf Course. Kind of stuck. I'm not going to say the middle of nowhere, because then people around there are like, it's not the middle of nowhere. On the banks of the Diefenbaker River, I guess Central Butte would be a close spot. There is a regional park. It's tucked away in southern Saskatchewan here. It's just 9 holes. If you've ever heard of it and you've seen the pictures, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I have to play this golf course at some point. Just go to Google and search Sageview Golf Course. It's unreal. Like those pictures, like it doesn't even look like Sasky a lot of times. So that's the one I wanted to focus on today. Thanks to our friends at Flooring Superstores in Regina, Trent Dickin and his staff. They're the sponsor of this right now, 25% off. They bought pre-tariff a lot of flooring. So if you're looking for flooring, whether it's carpet, laminate, hardwood, anything, cabin, house, Flooring Superstores, Park Street in Regina. They're local, Canadian. Go in there, talk to them. 25% off on most of the warehouse right now. Thanks to Trent and his team for sponsoring Prairie Golf Gems. All right, it's the Sageview Golf Course. Kyle Penner from Sageview Golf Course joins us. I was talking about it, Kyle. This is one of the golf courses that, being, I guess, somewhat of an avid golfer in the province, like you hear so much about it over the years, and it's like you got to get there. It's 9, but it's, you know, it's so spectacular, and it's got different holes. It's a different feel. For Sageview, being, I guess, a little bit out of the way, is that kind of the common comment that you get, that it's just like, I've been waiting a long time to play this gem?
Yes, that's what we hear all the time. You know, when people come out for the first time, they always say to us, like, it's so far out of the way, we just never got down here. You know, they do 9 holes and they're amazed. It's just a completely different landscape out here, and it seems to keep them coming back.
Is this a family-run golf course?
Yes, it is. My parents, Mike and Shauna Penner, they bought it back in 2016. And then previous to that, my dad was a superintendent for, I believe it was 10 years before that.
And what's the history on the course? Like when was it constructed?
So construction began in 1992, I believe. Their grand opening was the following year in 1993.
Like to build a golf course, it's not easy. 9 holes or 18, it doesn't matter. You're on the banks of the Diefenbaker Lake. I guess the regional park is close. Do you know why they did this back in the early 90s?
Well, I think a big part of that was the regional park was established here for a long time. I believe it started in the 60s. And then I believe it was Boyd and Darcy Barr. I think they had the idea to open up a golf course here. And I'm a little foggy on the history other than that, but it just seemed like a great location along the banks of Lake Diefenbaker here. And
yeah, no, it's spectacular, and looking at the pictures, it's just top notch. What about you? We're out of the way a bit, unless people are going to the regional park, and people on Diefenbaker Lake as well. If people are going to come and they want to play it for a couple days or play around, stay somewhere, and then play it again the next day, how does stay and plays work? Where's the best thing for people to stay?
Well, we offer a stay and play package with the Mainstay Inn. They're a separate business within the park, but you can call those guys up. You get, I believe it is 1 night stay, and you get a breakfast with those guys, and then you get a supper as well, and then 2 separate days of golf, or 18 holes each day. Sounds like a deal. So people can, and they find that online through your course, through the website? Yeah, they can go to SageviewGolfCourse.ca. We have a link underneath Golf and Stays, or you can go to Mainstay Inn and Resort, and they also have a heading for Golf and Stays there as well. Kyle Penner from the Sageview Golf Course is joining us on Prairie Golf Gems for Flooring Superstores in Regina. What about tournaments, Kyle, out there? You go to the website, check it out, but anything that we should circle on the calendar that might catch our attention? Yeah, we have a very popular tournament coming up at the end of this month on June 21st. It's our hole-in-one tournament. It's a very busy tournament, very fun. People seem to enjoy that one the most. And then on our website, we do have the dates posted on all of our other tournaments. I mean, we have a Ryder Cup in September. That's 27 holes of golf, and just kind of sporadically throughout the year. Is it
what's the signature hole, if there is one, at Sageview?
Number 7 is our signature hole. It's about 130 yards above the green. And if you look behind the tee box, you see Lake Diefenbaker from one side of the horizon to the next. And it's a very challenging, very fun hole.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the picture of it right now. That does look spectacular. What about wildlife out there? The one thing I have heard is, when things are a little warmer, you're going to maybe see the odd bull snake. What kind of wildlife do we see at Sageview?
There's lots of jackrabbits. I mean, right now we've been seeing lots of bull snakes, muley deer. We don't see too much whitetail deer down here. The odd coyote here and there, but
the main stuff. All right. And if people want to finally play this gem, or if they haven't played it in a while, or they want to get out there, I'm just looking online right now. Online, you guys have a great website, Sageview Golf Course. It's very reasonable to play. Maybe just walk through, some of the rates and some of the packages that you offer.
Yeah. So, I mean, we try to keep our prices reasonable because we want people to be able to afford to come down here. I mean, with 9 holes with a cart, I think you're looking around $45. We also offer punch passes. We offer 6-round and 9-round punch passes, and then you save about 20% off our regular green fees. And then there is also, as we mentioned before, the golf and stay package.
So great. Kyle, thanks so much for taking some time and walking us through this. I can't wait to eventually get that down there and play it, and just continued success. Good job on you and your parents and your family for taking this over. It looks like just a fabulous course.
I appreciate that very much.
So if you're like me and you want to get there and you're like, hey, Barney, what's just Sageview Golf Course on the old Google, it's going to punch it up. It's going to come up. You'll see the pictures, and they got a slick website. And then you see the specials and the rates and the tournament. Like he said, you can book online. It's great. 9 holes on a weekday, $33 if you want to hoof it. And then a cart's only $16. Great deal. SageviewGolfCourse.ca. If there's a course that you think, like I said, that we should target here on Prairie Golf Gems for Flooring Superstores Regina, let us know. Text in 936-6262, Prairie Land Rentals text line, and we'll put it on the list. Another good one coming up next week. Another one I haven't played, but I've heard a ton about it. So thanks to Trent Dickin and his team, 25% off most of the warehouse right now at Flooring Superstores in Regina. They bought before the tariffs. They are Canadian. They've been supporting local forever here in Regina. Trent Dickin and his team at Flooring Superstores. It's break time on the Sports Cage. We are the home of local sports in Saskatchewan on 620 CKRM.